you doing, everybody? It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Members of the Onondaga Nation are hosting an event at Columbus Circle downtown. Citrus TV's Anthony Dabbundo has more on why people think that day should be renamed Indigenous Peoples Day.
And we have details of the country's worst transportation disaster in nearly a decade. Find out why Governor Cuomo says the limo involved in the crash should never have been on the road to begin with.
And today, the university collected feedback from students on the remodeling of Shine Student Center. Find out what changes campus is looking for. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Neighbors of the Onondaga Nation are hosting an event that celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day. Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Shama. The city of Syracuse closed its administrative offices for the holidays, but groups gathered at Columbus Circle for different reasons. Citrus TV's Anthony Dabbundo is live at the Neighbors of Onondaga Nation event with more information. Anthony?
I'm here live in Columbus Circle in downtown Syracuse at the site of a recently concluded Indigenous Peoples event. Now, the Neighbors of Onondaga Nation hosted their second annual event to honor Indigenous people and protest against Columbus and the statue that's right behind me. Now, the statue's been here for a long time, but many members of the Onondaga Nation and many other community members spoke today about how they're not happy about it. One of the big keys of the event was there was a sign right behind me that read, "Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. There were thousands already here." That was the theme of the event, and a local organizer said today's event was meant to help people understand the atrocities that Columbus and his crew committed when they sailed and discovered America.
There's a group of us that have been trying to make this a special day like it used to be. And coming here to these events, it used to be mobbed. And those that came over early on are the ones that donated their dimes and nickels and pennies when they had nothing, so that this monument could be erected.
Now, this wasn't the only event hosted in this very circle today. About 11:30 earlier this morning, there was an event hosted by the Italian Americans, and they hosted a wreath-laying ceremony that they do every single year to honor Christopher Columbus. The event was many local community members and leaders spoke on behalf of Columbus and on behalf of the history that statue represents in Syracuse and in America. State Senator John DeFrancisco stressed the importance of honoring the history of this country.
This is our second annual Indigenous Peoples Day celebration here downtown. It's part of our effort to recognize the sovereignty and the history and the survival of Indigenous Native Americans here, as well as to gain attention about the atrocities that were committed by Christopher Columbus during his time in the Americas.
There remains a lot of debate about what to do about the statue and what to call today's holiday. Should it be Columbus Day or should it be Indigenous Peoples Day? The debate rages on. Reporting live from Columbus Circle, I'm Anthony Dabbundo, Citrus TV.
Thanks, Anthony. Certainly an interesting topic. And the Pitt game Saturday had some roaring fans, but was the orange part of the crowd. Amber McElrath is live in studio to tell us what the Syracuse side of Heinz Field looked like on Saturday.
If you're an SU student, orange seems to flow through your veins. But does this school spirit transfer to other stadiums besides the Carrier Dome? I traveled to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh last weekend to find out.
Syracuse University was ranked #1 in school spirit this summer by the Princeton College Review. In 2017, Syracuse sold an average of 34,000 tickets for their home games.
I can physically feel goosebumps. That's when I know everybody, I can feel the energy radiating through the Carrier Dome.
The Carrier Dome is the home of the Orange, but it's not the only place Syracuse fans travel. The Syracuse University fan club Otto's Army organized a bus trip to Pittsburgh for the game against the Pitt Panthers.
I think we'll have a good amount of fans there, because I think Syracuse travels pretty well.
Every year, Otto's Army travels to a nearby away game. 50 tickets were sold for the fan bus this year. However, most Pitt students didn't seem impressed by the turnout from Syracuse compared to other teams they played this year.
When Penn State was here, there was a lot more hype around it, so there's still a lot of hype because homecoming weekend, but otherwise, obviously Penn State is a bigger rivalry.
There were Syracuse fans sprinkled throughout the stadium, but the number was a lot smaller than you'd expect for the school ranked #1 in spirit. The noise in the Carrier Dome is unbeatable, but maybe students should work on their presence at away games.
It's always hard to travel away from Syracuse, especially when your destination is 5.5 hours away. Even though the bus trip for next year isn't decided yet, maybe more students will be interested in going and showing that Cuse pride.
In other news, Syracuse University Health Services is offering free flu vaccines to students, faculty, and staff. Vaccinations are available starting Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Flanagan Gymnasium. The vaccinations are available until November 8th. Additionally, SU plans to have alternative options to the vaccine available. If you're a student, make sure you present your SU ID when you arrive. And Falk College announced a new merit scholarship for current SU students interested in taking up a master's degree at the school. Incentives include no application fee and a 25% tuition discount. If interested, students should contact Falk Admissions. The school will host a graduate information center session on November 2nd.
Tomorrow, university officials will appear before the Planning Commission of Syracuse to present plans to replace the roof of the Carrier Dome. The $118 million investment is said to support more than 3,000 jobs after its completion. The university also collected feedback from students today about upcoming construction at Shine Student Center. According to a statement last May, construction might begin as early as next January. And according to a communications official, plans will be brought to the Board of Trustees by November. She says students are asking for two things in their feedback.
Students are using technology often, so having charging stations. We're also hearing some feedback on the furniture concept, so students want some comfy seating options, high back chairs, as well as tables where they could study or have some team meetings.
And now for your first weather update, weather anchor Riley Burg is here to tell us what to expect for the rest of the evening. Riley?
Well, today we've seen a lot of patches of sun and clouds, but right now it's pretty cloudy outside. We're looking at about 71 degrees. And as we move into the night, we're going to see a high of 65 degrees outside, pretty much overcast for the rest of the evening. But let me tell you, we are starting to cool down a little bit, but you don't want to pull out your winter boots yet. I'll tell you why in my full weather forecast. For now, Chris and Elijah, back to you.
And the new details on the viral video of a local Dunkin' worker pouring water on a homeless man. Homeless advocates are continuing to speak out a week after the video's release. John Tomino is using this as an opportunity to shed light on the homeless population in Syracuse. Tomino is going to be hosting a panel to discuss the issues the homeless face on October 18th at the Palace Theater. Executives from the group that owns the Dunkin' are planning to attend the discussion. And a man accusing 3 Syracuse police officers of violence is heading to court with an unlikely witness. Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick is expected to testify for Alonzo Grant. Grant claims that police assaulted him in 2014 after he called 911 to break up an argument outside his home. DA Fitzpatrick is one of several witnesses. The trial begins Tuesday in Utica.
Updates on the limousine crash in upstate New York that authorities are calling the U.S.'s deadliest transportation accidents since 2009. 20 people died in the crash, including 2 pedestrians. Earlier today, Governor Cuomo said the limo failed an inspection last month and did not belong on the road. Additionally, the driver was not authorized to drive the limousine. The National Transportation Safety Board and state police are still investigating exactly what caused the crash. Coming up, Rod Rosenstein travels with the president to Orlando, and Trump comments on their relationship nearly 2 weeks after Rosenstein was rumored to have resigned.
And the head of Interpol reappears after a concerning disappearance. Now, the Chinese government is investigating him for allegations of corruption. We'll be right back.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Got a quarter?
you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back. A former aide to President Trump is joining Fox News. Hope Hicks will lead the network's public relations department as the new executive vice president and chief communications officer.
That's right. This follows the network's reboot after Disney recently bought portions of 21st Century Fox. Hicks was one of the longest-serving aides to the president and served as White House communications director until she resigned in February. The president said Monday that his relationship with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein is good. The deputy AG accompanied the president to Orlando for his speech to police chiefs today.
Rosenstein was the official in charge of the investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. So far, the president says that he doesn't intend to fire the Justice Department official.
We're going to be talking. We'll be talking on the plane. I actually have a good relationship other than there's been no collusion, folks, no collusion. And but I have a very good relationship. We'll see.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection is working to locate the 27 Cuban migrants who jumped off a boat. The migrants swam to the shore in Miami, where they then ran and hid.
So far, customs officials and Miami police arrested 15 people. Paramedics treated 13 of the immigrants, none of whom needed hospitalization. The migrants who were arrested will likely face deportation. And the latest on the disappearance of the head of Interpol. Chief Meng Hongwei resurfaced yesterday. The Chinese Ministry of Public Security says that Hongwei is being held on accusations of corruption.
Hongwei was formerly a vice minister to China. He disappeared after taking a flight to Beijing last month. However, he's not the first high-profile Chinese figure to disappear after being investigated. Chinese actress Fan Bingbing disappeared from social media while under investigation for tax evasion. Elsewhere, the dead body of a Bulgarian journalist was found beaten and raped in a park in the city of Rus, Bulgaria on Saturday. Victoria Marinova was an investigative reporter for a talk show called Detector.
It is unclear if her death is linked to her work. An investigation is currently underway. Marinova is the fourth well-known journalist killed in the EU since 2017. The right-wing candidate in the Brazilian presidential elections will move on to the next round of voting.
That's right. Jair Bolsonaro will again face leftist candidate Fernando Haddad in another vote on October 28th.
Bolsonaro has created controversy for his aggressive law and order rhetoric and strongly conservative positions on social issues. The candidate's right-wing populist statements have also drawn comparison to those of U.S. President Donald Trump. Coming up, a hurricane with 75-mile-per-hour winds is expected to hit Florida Wednesday. Find out more about Hurricane Michael and your full weather forecast for the week.
And a new report says that 2030 is the deadline to curb climate change. What happens after the deadline? Well, that scientists say could alter life across the globe. Citrus TV will be back with all that and more right after this.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And wanting one last day of summer heat, well, I'm here to tell you, you've got 2 on the way. So pull out your shorts and sunscreen and get ready to feel the heat, because both tomorrow and Wednesday, it's going to be hot. Taking a look at tomorrow's weather planner, we're seeing 71 degrees to start out your morning commute. And then moving to lunchtime, about 77 degrees, starting to feel that heat. And then around 2 p.m., we're going to reach that high of 81 degrees. Moving into the evening, we are going to see 76 degrees, so cooling down just a bit, but not too much. You'll still get to feel the warmth throughout the night. And moving into temperatures around central New York, we're seeing up here in Rochester our highest, 83 degrees. And then moving into Fulton, 82, Syracuse just below that at 81, Rome, 79, Cortland, 78, Ithaca, 78. Binghamton, a little chillier than the other areas, but not too much. You'll still feel that heat, Binghamton. And looking at just this day in history, so it was actually in 1949 that the record hit. It was 85 degrees. And looking at tomorrow, it's going to be 81. So we're really, really close to that record high. Who knows? Maybe Mother Nature will change her mind and bump it up to 85, but it's still going to be a warm and a hot one out tomorrow. And Syracuse is preparing for this heat, but Florida is preparing for something as well. Let me tell you, the National Hurricane Center upgraded Tropical Storm Michael to a hurricane. Heavy rainfalls and strong winds are expected to hit Florida on Wednesday. Winds are going to hit a maximum of 75 miles per hour. And the center says it may even be upgraded to a Category 3 storm by Tuesday. And a new UN report warns that humans have until 2030 to slow climate change, or we could all face some serious natural consequences. Experts are urging governments to avoid high levels of gas emissions to reduce global temperature spikes. The report estimates it would take a nearly $2.5 trillion annual investment between now and 2050 to lower emissions to an acceptable level. And here's Jonah Karp with sports.
Coming up, the Syracuse football team faced a familiar opponent on Saturday, and this was a game for the ages. Plus, SU men's soccer is home tonight hosting Ohio State, and we're joined by men's soccer beat reporter Luke McGrath live at the field to preview tonight's matchup against the Buckeyes. Stay tuned.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Jonah Karp. Coming off its first loss of the 2018 season, the Syracuse football team was looking to get back in the win column. And on Saturday, the Orange were down in Pittsburgh for an old Big East matchup. And SU hadn't beaten the Panthers on the road in 17 years. Well, it was a dogfight up until the final play. So let's pick things up in overtime at Heinz Field. 37-37, that was your score heading into the extra period. Pitt gets first crack at it. Syracuse deferred. Darren Hall pushing forward up the middle for a 3-yard score. So Pittsburgh on top 44-37. Okay, first play for the Orange offense in overtime. Eric Dungy floating into the end zone into double coverage. Looking for Nykeem Johnson, picked off by Taryn Coleman. And 44-37 ends up being your final score from Pitt. Dino Babers and Eric Dungy both addressing that final play in overtime following the loss.
We're running a sprint out. Okay, we're going to cut the perimeter. If it's a zone, we got a guy who's going to be 6 to 8 yards deep. We got one guy deep to back the safeties up, and if we run, we've got our quarterback on the perimeter.
We had a one-on-one with Nykeem, so I had pressure on me. I wasn't able to really run into the throw. I just was throwing it up to Nykeem, hoping he was going to make a play. Unfortunately, the defender made a good play on the ball.
Well, in other Syracuse sports, the men's soccer team is riding high after taking down #1 Wake Forest on Friday. And the Orange are back in action tonight hosting Ohio State. Let's go live to Citrus TV beat reporter Luke McGrath, who's live at SU Soccer Stadium covering tonight's game. Luke, thanks for joining us. First, let's talk about Friday's win over Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons had the #1 scoring offense in the country entering Friday's game, and Syracuse shut them out 2-0. So what was it about the defense that was working so well?
Hey, Jonah, what's going on? Yeah, the SU defense stepped up big time the other night here at the SU Soccer Stadium, taking down #1 ranked Wake Forest. Wake Forest had averaged over 14 shots per game in their first 11 games, scoring 34 goals. SU got just their second clean sheet of the year and held them to just 8 shots. Hendrik Hilpert made 5 saves, earning ACC Defensive Player of the Week honors. And Coach McIntyre said after the game it was just a different mindset, stepping up physically, not being afraid to throw their bodies in front of the Wake Forest offensive players. And all in all, just some minor correctable mistakes have really started to come to fruition for the Orange.
And you'd have to go back 2 seasons to find the last time Wake Forest lost to a conference foe on the road. Okay, let's go into tonight's game. What does Syracuse need to do to pull out a victory against Ohio State?
Yeah, so as the Orange look to win their 3rd game in a row, they're taking on an Ohio State team that comes in limping, 1-8-2 on the season, and hasn't registered a win in their last 9 games. Their leading scorer only has 2 goals, and last year on the road, SU took down the Buckeyes 2-1. So in theory, SU should cruise to its 3rd straight victory, but crazier things have happened before.
All right, well, we'll see. Before we let you go, Luke, I'm being told there's a special giveaway tonight in honor of a special Syracuse player. Do you have the scoop on that?
Yeah, Jonah, it is Alex Bono night here at the SU Soccer Stadium. We were actually fortunate enough to get our hands on one of these bad boys. They're really nice. He's got a couple of soccer balls. Alex Bono, now on Toronto FC, helped lead them to the 2017 MLS Cup. And during his time here in Syracuse, he's a Baldwinsville native, by the way. He allowed just 0.8 goals per game, which is the best all time. So a lot of extra fans in the crowd here to see him and see the Orange take on the Buckeyes in just a couple minutes here. All
right, thanks so much, Luke. And you can check out his full recap and analysis of tonight's contest at CitrusTV.com. You could also follow along at L_McGrath14 for live updates throughout the game. 7 o'clock start time. And in baseball, hey, it's Game 3 of the ALDS tonight, and that means the series goes back to New York. The Yankees and the Red Sox currently split 1 game apiece. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that, right? The Bombers coming off a 6-2 win over Boston on Saturday, and Luis Severino taking the bump in pinstripes against Nate Eovaldi. First pitch at 7:40. And guys, whoever wins this series takes on the Astros. Astros won today, so Houston is going to be the matchup in the ALCS.
What do you think that Yankee fans can expect from Luis Severino tonight? He pitched in the first outing, played pretty well, was able to go a few innings. What should they expect from him this evening?
Well, last year he kind of struggled in the postseason. This year, I mean, he's off to a rocking start, right? 4 scoreless innings against Oakland. So I think much of the same for Luis Severino.
So are there any other players to be watching on the Yankees or the Red Sox today? Is there a wild card? Who should we be watching?
You know, we talked about the pitching. These 2 teams boast high-powered offense. I mean, Aaron Judge on the New York Yankees, Mookie Betts among others on the Boston Red Sox. This could be a high-scoring game, but this could also be a low-scoring game. Nate Eovaldi for Boston, former Yankee.
Coming back to Syracuse University, we saw the football team go in with high expectations to Pitt, and they kind of left with their tail stuck between their legs. What do you sense, just from what you've seen, where is this team mentally? Or do you think they're prepared to go forward, or are they kind of sinking back into regression like we saw last year?
Well, you know what, Chris? They have a bye week coming up, so they can take these 2 losses, and they have a whole week to prepare for the game against UNC, put those 2 losses in the rearview mirror, and get ready for North Carolina, and I think that's a very attainable win.
Okay, so you do like what Syracuse has against?
Oh,
what's your prediction?
Absolutely.
Do you have a prediction for us?
Against North Carolina? Oh my goodness, it's so early. I just think Syracuse wins. I think they put up 45 points against North Carolina. I say 45-21.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you
Sure.
so much. And stick around, we'll be right back.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And looking at your 5-day forecast, like I said, tomorrow it is going to be a hot one. 81 degrees for a high, 66 for a low. Moving into Wednesday, lots of humidity, still that beautiful 80 degrees outside, and then a 67 for a low. Thursday, we're going to start to head back into that October weather. I know you're going to have to pull out your flannel again, but it'll be quite all right. Some scattered showers on Thursday, 72 for a high, 46 for a low. And then on Friday, it's going to be 52 for a high, 40 for a low, and moving into Saturday, 50 for a high, 38 for a low.
So, Riley, I got to ask, just looking at that screen, I just had outfit whiplash. What should I be wearing? What should my weekly kind of outfit look like?
Oh, I don't know if you can pick just one outfit for the
Thursday
week.
really throws a wrench in it for anything beautiful until that exact moment. Is that right? Like, you got to think raincoat for that and maybe shorts for the rest of the time?
Yeah, you know, I would have to say for the first part of the week, definitely shorts, maybe bring out a tank top. Wednesday, you're going to want a rain jacket, raincoat, everything, and then moving into Thursday and Friday, you're definitely going to want probably jeans, flannel, just layer it up a little bit.
All right, noted. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you. I'm Elijah Shama.
We appreciate your time with us this evening. Make sure to check out all of our content on Twitter @CitrusTV News. Have a good evening, Syracuse.
Good night.